Hello everyone and welcome back to the survival series. I hope you all are doing well. I do have to say it's been a little bit of time since the last episode, but we are back and of course the fish are always still spinning. It is getting pretty close to Christmas, so as you can tell we're rocking our Christmas sweater and our little Santa hat on the back. Now normally every episode we usually just focus on building one farm. Like last episode we built the slime farm to get a ton of slime, or in that other episode we made that incredible guardian farm that gets us so much experience. But in this episode, we're gonna be focusing on every single farm. When I started this survival series a couple months ago, I said, but yeah, one of probably my favorite things to do in Minecraft is automate everything. So throughout the series, we will be doing that. Like, we're gonna have so many projects that we're gonna be doing. And before we end off this series, I really want to achieve that. I've made a list of almost every single farm we have not built yet, and we're gonna build them all in this episode. Also, I say almost every single farm because I'm not gonna be building like a food farm, like a cow farm, because we literally have unlimited golden carrots, so it'd be a little useless. Without further ado though, there is a lot of farms on this list, so I guess let's just get started with a skulk farm. I've actually used skulk in a lot of builds. I love the look of it, and it's also pretty good for experience, just to like repair tools and stuff. Skulk grows like crazy, so I think 6 catalysts should be more than enough. I completely forgot about this guy. Hello. You're still standing here, aren't you? Now, skulk expands when you kill an animal near a skulk catalyst. That didn't expand, but yeah. Usually skulk grows around it. And so using a farm like our 4-portal gold farm that spawns a ton of pigmen all the time, we can get a lot of pigmen dying near these skulk catalysts, which then expands normal skulk. And then we can pretty much just farm it. To start off, we're gonna have to make some adjustments to this farm so the pigmen don't fall into the trident killer. I'm hoping we can do that with a couple of sticky pistons. So redstone has been placed down, and I'm hoping... Oh, there goes a pigman. I'm hoping that when we flick the lever here, this piston extends and puts stone right here so that this tunnel gets blocked up. And then this piston will pull this stone back, which will let this water run and then flow into this hole. And then if we put a sign right here, it will push all the pigmen that fall down into this hole now. And then this will be where the farm will be. To test it out, we can flick this lever. And yes, it looks all good. We can put like some blocks here now. And then hopefully when we flick this lever back, it should all go back to normal. And then the gold farm will be able to run again. So with that working, we have to dig this tunnel down a lot. We can then close this all up so we can't see the redstone anymore. Turn on the farm so that it's in skulk mode. I've also made a way down to our skulk farm now, which there isn't really much. It's just a hole in the ground. But if we turn on the portals for the gold farm, we should hopefully start seeing some pigmen fall down. Aha, yes we do. So now that we know that that all works, that's probably the most difficult part. Now we can just dig out a big space for this farm and we can start building. Now, when the pigmen die, we actually need blocks for them to, like, spread the skulk onto. And that is where a stone generator comes in. For a stone generator, you just need some pistons that are waterlogged with some lava on top of the flowing water. And yeah, okay, so we have stone, and then if we mine the stone, it should come back. Yes, okay, so we can just go like this. We can hook up all the pistons with some redstone into a redstone clock. So the pigmen will fall down. This stone will be getting pushed out this way. We'll have the skulk catalyst probably on the side here. I don't want to place it now just because I don't want skulk going all around this room. And then using a silk touch hoe, we can break all of the skulk. I'll probably have hoppers down here. Actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea. So with lots of hoppers placed down, the last thing we really need to do is make this look a little better before we put in the skulk. I'm gonna pretty much remove every single block around this farm so that skulk has no way of spreading, because I don't want my entire Minecraft world to just be skulk. I'm pretty sure this should be a big enough space so that skulk won't kind of like move around. Either way, it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. Last thing we really need to do is put down some skulk catalysts on the sides. And then to test it out, we can turn on the portals. So pretty much we can turn the farm on stand right here, and I'm hoping this should work. It looks like it's working. Oh my goodness, it actually is. And with that, there is our first farm complete. Moving away from the deep dark caves, the next two farms we're gonna make is a moss farm and a flower farm. These are actually a lot more useful than you probably think. Flower farms are incredible for dye, and moss farms are a great method of getting bone meal. Starting with the moss farm, this is by Silent Whisper, and yeah, we're gonna need a lot of materials for this. A lot more materials than I thought we were gonna need, but we should have all of them now. This is actually the first time I've made a moss farm. I've never really needed it before, so I'm probably just gonna follow the tutorial. If you want the video, it's in the description. And yeah, let's start building. Well, I'm not gonna lie, this was a lot bigger of a project than I expected, but we are finished. This is a monster of a redstone machine right here, but it should start getting us a lot of moss. To actually get the farm started though, we need bone meal to begin with. Good thing we have this fish farm with a lot of bones, and I need to test it out, but I'm pretty sure this moss farm is gonna be a lot faster than this fish farm for giving us bone meal. So bone meal goes into this chest. We'll let it funnel into the dispenser. This farm does kind of hurt to build. I'll put it that way. If you want to build it, you can, but it is kind of a pain. Bone meal should be in this system, so all we gotta do is flick this lever up here. Might be working. Oh, it is working. Okay, so you can see the stone is getting converted into moss. It's getting broken and more stones getting in. All the moss is getting picked up as well. We had to use like a quad stone generator for this, which kind of hurts. But it looks like it's working very well. It goes up so fast. So to turn this into a bone meal farm, we are gonna have to mine this out a little. I think we're gonna need at least 10 composters for this to actually be efficient. Oh, that's so loud. And then we can funnel the composters into double chests. Oh, this just sounds incredible. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of musical. Okay, this should be a big enough storage system. Yeah, we already have like almost a stack of bone meal in every single one of these chests. So I think for a good test, we can fill up this entire double chest with bone meal and then send it into the dispenser. And then we can turn the farm on and see if we get more than a double chest full of bone meal when we completely run out. It may take a while. I don't know how fast this farm can run. And I do not hear any more composters going off, so I think we have ran out of bone meal. And using one double chest full of bone meal, we have oh yeah, okay, I think that's already yeah, okay. This farm pretty much duplicates bone meal. We put in one double chest and we got 1, 2, and almost 2.5 double chests full of bone meal. This is actually really good because the next couple of farms use a lot of bone meal. Oh, also while I was waiting for all of the bone meal to bone meal, I kind of made this look a little better. There isn't a roof to it, but honestly, that kind of makes it look cooler. Like, you can still see the insides. So with the moss farm done, we can now move on to the flower farm. This is actually a lot like how the moss farm works, except it's like 10 times easier and a lot less work. All this farm is pretty much gonna do is bone meal a flower, which will then multiply the flower because for some reason that's how Minecraft works. And then we will push the grass that the flowers are on so that they break, and then they'll be collected by like a hopper minecart, and then more will grow, we'll push the grass again, and it will just be an infinite cycle. This doesn't actually have to be very big. I think we're just gonna make it a 9x9 platform. We can have some pistons on either side. Just before we place the grass in, we'll add a couple rails for our minecarts with hoppers. Now we can place in the grass. This middle grass piece here is where the flower is gonna go that we bone meal. So I'm hoping if we do something like this and then bone meal it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that'll work. To make this automatic, we'll have a dispenser facing into the flower, and then that's what will bone meal it. And then using a comparator, we can create a really fast redstone clock, and flicking it on looks like it'll work. We can hook up the rest of these pistons with some redstone, maybe put a tick there so like it can go back and forth. And then if we put some bone meal in the dispenser, we can then go like that. And yeah, I think it works. That was like barely any bone meal. We have so many stacks of flowers. Sheep, I'm sorry, but you are not a flower. We can put a ring of glass around this so that none of the flowers can escape. And then we should just be able to flick this lever on and start getting a lot of flowers. The one thing about this farm is that it uses up so much bone meal very quickly, but yeah, we just had 2 stacks of bone meal and the flowers are still coming in. But it doesn't just have to be this one type of flower anyways. Like, this is good if we need a gray dye, but if we wanted something like purple dye, we could come in here, replace this flower with this one, cover it back up, and I need some more bone meal. And then we can start this farm up, and yeah, now we're getting purple dye, or I think it's purple. Yeah, I think we have unlimited dye now. This farm doesn't really look the greatest right now, though, so yeah, that's much better. So whenever we need dyes for builds and stuff, we can come up here, put some bone meal in, flick on the lever, and start getting a ton of different flowers. Now that doesn't even make sense. The poppies were giving me both poppies and dandelions. What? Oh, this feels very weird to be on, I'm not gonna lie. And with the flower farm done, let's move on to a couple farms that don't require as much redstone and brain power. First off, we can make an amethyst farm, and luckily we have a geode like literally right beside our slime farm. Now this is probably one of the more useless ones, mostly because you don't really use amethyst and it takes forever to grow, but we're gonna make it anyways. I have to be very... Oh, I just did that. I was literally about to say I have to be very careful I don't break those blocks, and I just broke one. We can lose one. It's fine. Okay, I think we did that without breaking any more. We can also get rid of all this calcite. I think that's what this is called. And then we can kind of make like a square base underneath all of them. We can make the roof a little higher as well. And I actually really like the smooth basalt look, so we'll use that for most of this build. For the walls, we can probably keep them deep slate, but then add like a couple of amethyst blocks to like cut it up, I guess. Maybe with some purple frog lights as well to give it some light. And that should pretty much complete this farm. To make the amethyst grow, we can harvest these big ones to get a ton of amethyst. Okay, so I actually had to search this up because I thought you had to replant an amethyst shard onto the block, but I guess it just grows automatically. So like over time, the amethyst like buds will appear here as well. So we literally just have to farm the amethyst for this farm and then wait for more, which is pretty cool. And just harvesting the little that had grown there, we have 2.5 stacks, which is great. So we can move on to the next farm, which actually uses dripstone. Now using this dripstone, we can actually farm lava, and even though it's probably not the best way to do it, we're still gonna make one because we can. For this, we're gonna have to make a lot of cauldrons. 26 should be more than enough, especially for a farm we're probably never gonna use. I think it would actually be quite cool if we had like a chip into this mountain, kind of like an overhanging cave. And then that's where we could build this farm. And then inside will be where all the cauldrons go. Put the dripstone above the cauldrons. And then just place a ton of lava on every single block above the dripstone. And then whenever we need lava and for some reason don't want to go into the nether, we can fly into our cave, and yeah, there'll be lava waiting in the cauldrons. Also, while we're here, we might as well make a dripstone farm, which is even more useless than the lava farm because they take forever to grow. They are very simple. I'm pretty sure all we really have to do is grab an observer to observe when like the dripstone grows. And then with a couple pistons and some redstone in the back, we should just be able to place down some dripstone there on the top and the bottom, and then that should hopefully here we can just simulate it. If one dripstone grows, Oh yeah, no, wait, that won't work. Okay, one thing I did miss is we need water on top of the dripstone. And then that should hopefully, over time, grow dripstone down here, while it is also growing longer. And then when it grows to here, and then this one will start growing as well, and then either one of these will grow another block, which will harvest both of them. For a collection system, we can go underneath, place a hopper with a minecart as well. That should collect all the blocks on top. And then we can add in a chest, and then for the final touches, we can just put some glass around this, so none of the dripstone falls out of the farm. And that is 2 more farms complete. Now let's take a break from building the farms to add on to the wall of items. So Daniel wanted to be cut copper, Rubicon wanted to be crying obsidian, Super wanted to be a soul campfire, Icy Mango wanted to be packed ice, Dank Dave wanted to be a firework, Tommy wanted to be a water bucket, Pickles wanted to be an Eye of Ender, Giovanni wanted to be beetroot soup, Ida wanted to be a crossbow, and Atlas wanted to be a jungle sapling. And with all of them added to the wall, let's make some more farms. These next 2 farms are going to require a lot of bone meal because we are making a bamboo farm and a kelp farm. Both of these farms are going to use the same techniques as our sugarcane farm, where you put bone meal in a chest and then flick on a lever, and then it will grow the sugarcane, and then break it, then grow it, then break it again really quickly. So we might as well make them all right beside each other. The bamboo farm will pretty much be a replicate of this farm, so we pretty much just have to copy and paste. That should be the bamboo farm done. The kelp farm's probably going to be a little different because it needs to be underwater, but I don't see it being that much different. Well, that took a little bit of time, but we should pretty much have all of the farms complete. The kelp one took me a little bit longer to figure out, but if we flick this lever, it should start growing the kelp, and yes, it does seem like it's working. Also, I hooked up this lever to every single farm, so now all of the farms are going at once. And then when we run out of bone meal, we can turn off the farm, look at how much resources we got. Oh wait, that's actually not too bad. And now we can move on to the last couple of farms. Now we've used stone generators for both our moss farm and our skulk farm, but we still don't actually have a stone farm, which isn't the most useful thing in the world because you can just mine in a cave, but I think we can make this stone farm pretty cool. Introducing the unbreakable wall. You think you can break it, but over time it will regenerate. And now we have infinite stone and cobblestone. I don't actually know why cobblestone is being generated. That doesn't quite make sense, but it's fine. We have 2 more farms still to go. The first one requires us going to an ice biome to make an AFK ice farm. We already have a portal here, so we might as well make it close by. It also has to be up in the sky, and then we can start making a platform. This big platform here will be where all the ice spawns. Then we can make a ring around it. This other ring here is where we're gonna AFK. We can place down the water on this platform, and then we should start seeing all this water in the middle getting turned into source blocks. And so pretty much how this farm works is, since we're so high up in an ice biome, this water here will freeze, but then the water sources underneath these blocks won't freeze because that's how Minecraft works. And then we go around breaking, just like that. That was great. So we go around breaking all the ice, and then it will get filled back in. And with some water streams put in, all we gotta do is hold a silk touch pickaxe, fall into the water, then hold our button, and it will break ice, push us along. We don't even have to do anything. This is great. If we ever need an AFK source of ice, we have one. And then it will push us this way. We'll be going like this, so we won't be able to break any of the wood, and then we'll keep getting pushed until we get back to the start where we can go again. Most of the ice hasn't really spawned in again, but there's a couple of pieces. It's definitely not the fastest thing in the world, but if I ever need AFK ice, this is the place to go. And now for the final farm. I've been dreading this all episode, but it's gonna take us a long time to build. It is pretty difficult to build as well, but it is incredibly rewarding, and it is a silver Silverfish farm. The redstone and mechanics of this farm is so complicated. It took me literally forever to figure out how this works. But to just look at all of the drops, it was totally worth it. All jokes aside though, we made a lot of incredible farms in this episode, and that means we have pretty much made every single farm we can in Minecraft. And it is kind of unfortunate, but I think that means that is everything we can really do in this survival series. This might be the end, I really don't know. We'll have to see. But for right now, that's the end of this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you guys all did enjoy. A like and subscribe would be very, very much appreciated. And other than that, hope you all have an awesome rest of your day, and goodbye.